All right, we are back on sports, and you know what? The things that I have seen is just, it's been disgusting. I'm embarrassed to see the things that I've seen when it comes to sports. And it's not even about teams this week. No. It's from their fan bases or certain players on certain teams. That's right. So we got to talk about that. So before I get started on the Eagles, because I got a lot to say about the Eagles, I want to talk about the Flyers. That's right, Philadelphia Flyers, and the disrespect that the Flyers are being shown. Now, for those who don't know, all right, last preseason game went on this weekend against the Boston Bruins, right? It wasn't aired. Why isn't it aired? I'm trying to figure this out. Once again, you got to be kidding me that you're not airing these games, okay? Now, with that said, Flyers fans and myself, we had a little talk on Twitter not too long ago about one Gudas, right? And I had said to them, I can't stand this fucking guy. I can't believe he was signed again. I'm tired of his shit. I'm tired of it. Because of the way he plays. And for those who don't know, a couple games ago, he put a nasty hit on a player. And I'm like, it's preseason. Why are you putting nasty hits on players like this during the preseason? You only have a certain amount of games anyway. We're going to need you for the beginning of the season. What's wrong with you? And you Flyers fans had said, well, the hit wasn't that bad. And come on, give him a chance. Okay. And then what happened on Saturday? Just for y'all know, all right? Gudas is facing a possible 5-game suspension for the hit on Austin Czarnik. 5-game suspension, possible, because of the hit he put on him. So again, this is just a couple games apart, and this is what you're doing in the preseason. I don't want to see this type of stuff during the preseason, given the fact that the Flyers need to be healthy and they need everyone. For those who don't know, for what we're hearing already, he's injured already, so he won't be ready for the regular season. So we're already spread thin as it is. And now this. Look, at this point, this dude, he doesn't know. No. Listen, I'm tired of the guy's shit. I'm tired of it. As far as I'm concerned, you can send his ass packing. He makes more mistakes than he does anything good. I just don't understand this. And then people want to still give him a chance. I'm not giving him a chance. I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, it's one thing to be an enforcer if you want to be an enforcer, play aggressive, if another team is really trying to bully you. I get that, okay? That's understandable. But you're going too far. It's like I said, it's preseason. You save that shit for the regular season, man. Because that's when it's called. Because that's when people are going to get on their horse and really want to play. All right? I can't support it. I can't. All right? The fact is the Flyers, they haven't looked great, but they haven't looked bad. And they have some bright spots on the team that we're seeing. We're seeing a number of players come up, and they're playing really well, which I would love to see them make the roster. We'll see if they do or not. They'll probably be sent down, for some more work and then come back up to the roster. But as far as I'm concerned, this team, like I said, I'll get behind it, but I'm not very sold on this team just yet, due to the fact that I'm really concerned about their defense, and I'm really concerned about how they protect neutral ice. I really am. So we'll see what happens in the season. Time for to get back onto the Flyers hockey, so that's an exciting thing. But it's going to feel weird this year because, as you know, Ed Snyder isn't here this year. This will be his first official year that he won't be here. Because dare I say he's passed away. So we shall see what happens. Okay, let's move on to the Eagles. Now, last week I said we played the Lions and it was a winnable game, and as we know, this was a winnable game. It was. Actually, the Eagles had this. It was their game to lose, and they kind of lost it, did they not? Okay, so let's just get that out the way. Now, with that said, all right, as we saw in the media, in the postseason games, I talked about this on Twitter. Media, we got to have a talk. I hope y'all happy. I hope that you're happy that Carson Wentz finally threw an interception, because you couldn't stand to have Carson Wentz play his game. No. You had to keep bringing it up. When's he going to throw one? What's going to happen? Will he rebound? Every quarterback in the league has thrown a fucking interception. You act like Carson Wentz has never thrown an interception in his life. All right? Like he's never thrown one in college or in high school or whatever. He's never thrown an interception. Apparently yesterday was the first time he's ever thrown an interception. Ever. You've got to be kidding me. Clearly he'll bounce back. But the media, you just couldn't let it go, could you? You had to keep bringing it up. He's got no turnovers. When's he going to turn over the ball? It's almost like you were waiting for something to happen. You couldn't wait to talk about it. And that's absolutely pathetic, especially here in the Philadelphia media. Once again, you should be ashamed of yourselves for even keep bringing that up. So I hope you're happy, all right, that he threw an interception at the end of the game. I hope you're happy. Now, with that said, there's a lot of people who thought that the Lions would not play well. Now, I had said last week that, like I said, winnable game. Lions really don't have that many weapons. But our defense had a lot of problems. Now, before I get started on the defense, I do want to talk about the people who just thought that the Eagles were going to steamroll the Lions. That's right. And it wasn't just fans in general, because like I said before, sometimes the media, they put this bug in everyone's ear, how they feel as though the Eagles are going to do, and the fans just take it and run, because the fans don't have a mind of their own at times. And for those who know what I'm talking about, we can look at Seth Joyner, and we can see his score of the game before the game started. Though I respect the hell out of Seth Joyner as an ex-Eagle, as a player, all right, once again, I am not, and I repeat, I am not going to take that man's predictions as the truth. You got to be kidding me. No way in hell would I listen to that man. Now, however, let me move on. The first half was a really bad half for the Eagles, okay? It wasn't even the offense, all right? Offense, they got it together. They started, finding ways, because as you know, the Detroit Lions were just running the ball down our damn throat and just throwing on our secondary as if we didn't have a secondary. We were making those guys look like stars. And the problem with the defense was that penalties after penalties after penalties were killing us. They were, and here's the thing. It wasn't just the penalties that were killing us. Just remember, the Detroit Lions were, was it the third most penalized team going into this game? And they only came out with 2 penalties this entire game, which tells me something right there, all right? It almost makes me feel as though the refs were watching, because, they were doing them a solid because they were in Detroit. However, I have to say this right now, all right? There were times where the refs absolutely screwed over the Eagles, all right? And this is in the first half, because how can you sit here and tell me that this refs, I want to know, how is this a first down? And at that time, you gave them a first down, and the Eagles had to challenge it. You can see by that picture. Remember, the runner is down when his knee hits the ground. He's a yard off. A yard. And you gave him a generous spot and a first down. That is absolutely ridiculous. But once again, this is what the refs did all game, okay? Because in the second half, how do you call a chop block, all right, on Darren Sproles when there's no chop block to be shown? You know what? Let's look at the video on that as well.
Shot block, number 43. Offense, 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's a veteran, Darren Sproles.
Well, when one player's engaged, another player can't come and hit low. Watch Darren Sproles. Let's see. Who's engaged? Nobody. And the fact, too, for Darren Sproles, he doesn't have to go very far to beat a guy.
No, he's already down. When they talking about bending your knees, right, getting to a football position, he's in one just naturally.
Where's the chop block? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Look, they did this. The refs did this every time the Eagles got momentum to score. And this is what pissed me off the most in this game. It wasn't just all the penalties, all right? It was pivotal penalties at the times the Eagles were really in really good rhythm. That's what pissed me off the most. Now, granted, it's not the only reason that the Eagles lost, because, as we know, there were clear fouls at times where they had to call plays. Fletcher Cox pulled off, Matthew Stafford's helmet at one point, so you got to call that. So it's like one of those things. It's like, okay, you got to get that. There was times where there was, clearly there was holding, stuff like that. Like I said, you can't blame everything on the refs for our loss. You can't. The defense really did a bad job, especially in the first half. They were hurting themselves, all right? We gave this game away to the Detroit Lions, all right? But here's the thing. The offense played really well. They came soaring back, and they brought us back into the game to the point where we were up. Now, granted, we were up. But remember this, all right, people? When Green Beckham drops that pass in the end zone, that's a problem. It's a huge problem, because we only lose by 1 point in this game. All right? We get that touchdown, whole different story. The Lions have to go for something else. They have to make it tougher than what, we have to make it tougher than what it is. Once again, wideouts who have been dropping passes left and right, and you know what? I'm tired of seeing it. It's been a whole thing that's been going on all season, all preseason, okay? Just dropping passes. And a lot of people, especially in the media, said, oh no, it's just the preseason, they're dropping passes. Wait till the regular season, they'll be better by then. Well, we're 4 games in and they're still not better. Let's be honest here. Aguilar, what happened to him? Every time he was disrupted for a play, what happened? He won a flag. Well, you can't do that. That can't be your excuse every time. Every time something happened, every time a guy tried to catch the ball, they drop it. Pretty much damn near drop it. Most of the time, all right? You're bringing other guys. You're bringing in pretty much backups that I'm seeing. And they're just dropping the ball point blank. Was it the one receiver? Wentz threw to him twice in a row and he dropped the ball. Go somewhere. Like, it's clearly, you cannot, look, I put this, you can't have a recipe to win if these guys are not helping your quarterback out. Wentz played a really well game as far as I'm concerned, up until, the end where he made that rookie mistake, which I said, rookies are going to rookie, they're going to make these type of mistakes, because clearly, receiver wasn't really that open. You want that one-on-one, I understand, but it was just a bad mistake. Especially when you have, you're pretty much in, it's not even a 2-minute warning, but you're in that drill because it's only a minute 36 left, and you should know you got to chop up the field. You just don't say, fuck it, I'm going deep. You don't do that, you know what I mean? We've seen that for how long, and what's happened every time somebody's done that, huh? When it comes to Rex Grossman, Eli Manning, what's happened, all right? Interception. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the mistake he made. The only mistake he made in that game, which I know a lot of people say, well, Wentz is in clutch now. I don't want to hear it. I don't, all right? It's one mistake. But the fact is, the Eagles, they came back. Now, I put it like this. You guys on Twitter told me that a number of Eagles fans, guys and girls, were quitting in the first half of this game. So it goes to tell me that, number one, they're fair weather fans. The same Eagles fans that quit, was it in the first half of the Bears game? Are you fucking kidding me? I cannot take them seriously as fans. And for those fans say, well, who cares what you think? Well, who the fuck cares what you think then? As far as I'm concerned, they're not fans. They're fair weather fans. That is not, look, when you have a repeated pattern of doing that, on quitting on your team, that's not emotion. That's not fandom. That's fair weather fandom. That's what the fuck that is. All right? That's what it is. Let's call it what it is. It also tells me you don't know fucking football. Because if you didn't think there were going to be any second half adjustments, you know what? Let's give them a small example on how this happened. So here's Exhibit A, I should say, for second half adjustments, if you don't believe in them. It's the same fans who want to put on the colors, right? Act like they're diehards at the beginning of the season, right? Then they want to sing the fight song, act like they're just the guy when it comes to fucking Eagles football. But as soon as a little bit of trouble comes, as soon as there's a slight uphill mountain to climb, here you go checking the fuck out. That's what y'all do. Y'all check out every fucking time. Like I said, it's a repeated pattern of behavior. It's embarrassing. And it makes the rest of us look fucking bad. It does. You can't sit here and tell me that that's okay. There's a difference between having emotions as a fan and having that same repeated pattern. No fucking way. But if we look at the end of this game, okay, we can sit here and blame Ryan Matthews if you want. That's what y'all want to do, like, right? Because he fumbled, But like I said, if we go back to back in green, it's a whole different story. But okay. We can blame Matthews if that's who you want to blame. If you want to blame the coaching for calling that, that sweep right, you can do that too. There's a number of things you can do, okay? Because a lot of you have to understand that he's trying to play conservative football to hold on to the game. That's what he's trying to do. He's not just trying to go for the gusto, all right? The fumble happened, it happened. Now, mind you, if you want to blame Matthews, if you're going to blame Matthews for anything, it should be the way he held the ball. Because for those who don't know, he held it in his left arm going right instead of holding it in his right arm going right, which means the ball would have been away from the defender when he's running this way. That's what it meant. So he would have been hit on this side, and the helmet wouldn't have hit the ball, all right? He just still held onto the ball with this arm. But he held it in this hand, and when he went down this way, helmet hit the ball, went out. That's where it was, all right? It goes to show you even pros still have these problems, okay? So it's a mechanical issue. It is. It has nothing to do with he's not holding on to the ball tight enough, because anyone who's ever had, someone come in at full force and a helmet hit the ball, it's going to pop out. It happens all the time, okay? It's not about your grip, all right? It's about his actual mechanics, holding it in the right hand, the angle. That's what it is. He was wrong, clearly in the wrong, all right? But I see people saying he should be benched for the rest of the season. And so, no, stop, okay? Because before that happened, everyone was cool with him running, because he was running pretty good before that, was he not? All right, so I'm not trying to hear that, all right? It seems like, especially at the end again, once again, that's just one thing, all right? But near the end, Carson Wentz, like I said, throws that bad pass. It is what it is, okay? It is. However, now that we are 3-1, I have to say, I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. I wasn't even mad at the game after it was over. What did I say on Twitter? Good game, Lions fans. A lot, y'all played a lot tougher than what people gave you credit for. All right? Just like we played a lot tougher than what a lot of us gave us credit for, because that's what I'm going to talk about. Remember, if we go by the overall scope of what's being said about the Eagles, okay? 3-1 isn't bad. That's why I'm not mad, all right? If y'all thought the Eagles, and this is what I don't understand, because y'all take it to two fucking extremes. Either they're going to lose all these games and not do anything, or they're going to win all these games and go to the fucking Super Bowl. Anybody who's a football fan, I say this now, not an Eagles fan, a football fan knows not to make that mistake. Alright? But for some reason, we still have these fans who feel that way. Remember, the Eagles weren't supposed to, and it's not just the fans, it's the doubters as well. Oh, well, the Eagles don't get no credit because, they only beat the Cleveland Browns. Okay, well, we can't get the Eagles any more credit because, they only beat the Bears. And then Dallas went on to beat the Bears, and that was okay. But with the Cleveland Browns, when Washington, Washington fans said the same thing, but when Washington beat the Browns, that was okay. All right. Oh, we can't give the Eagles credit because they beat the Steelers because the Steelers took them lightly. And then because the Steelers the next couple weeks start, rolling over teams. So you don't want to give us credit for that. Oh, the Eagles lost to the Lions, so we can't give them any credit at all, even though they came back from down 21-10 and only lost by 1 point, even though they were up at 1 point. Okay? So the Eagles just don't get any credit. Okay? None. Now here's the thing. All right? Since the Eagles aren't getting any credit, just from the fan base and from the rivals and the doubters, okay? Because it's both sides now, because you can't say it's not. All right? So no one expects the team to do anything. At 3-1, I'm pretty good with this. I'm okay with this. And I don't see how people can be upset. They had to lose a game sometime. I'd rather them lose a game now and get it over and done with. Because our next 5 games, like I said, the 2 games I see out of that 5 that are going to be extremely tough, all right, are going to be Minnesota and Atlanta. That's right. So I expect us to beat Dallas. I expect us to beat Washington. And I expect us to beat the Giants. That's how I see things. But the challenges will be come Minnesota and Atlanta. That's how I see things for the next 5 games. However, let me say this now, all right? Because we are seeing this, all right, this fan base just pretty much being torn to shreds this season, because, let's be honest, first-year coach, I want to make this very clear that for people who are so caught up in this, okay? Remember when Chip Kelly's first year here? Remember that? And the Eagles looked like they were doing great, and everyone was happy, and they're high-fiving each other, and there's drinks all around, everything like that. You understand? This is pretty much the same situation, all right? Granted, we have different personnel changes, but you got a first-year coach who is making some good calls, and people are just, oh, they're happy. Remember, before, they hated the fact that, Doug Peterson was around. They hated the fact that they drafted Carson Wentz. Now, all of a sudden, everyone loves him. Now, so I put it like this, okay? This first year, this season, this rookie season for the coach and the quarterback, I say you give him a free pass. We'll see what happens. Like I said, the sophomore slump is what bothers me the most. So I'm not worried about this season. All right? If they do well, hey, that's great. I'll root for them. If they lose, okay. Because we're playing with house money right now. That's what we're doing. Because when they lose it, man, I knew they weren't contenders. They just pretenders. That's what they're going to say if we lose. If we win, then they're going to say, oh, well, we still can't give them credit because they haven't beaten anybody, really. Or people are just shocked and salty. Either or. So as you can see, the Eagles are just playing with house money. And the fans should be the same way. You know you're playing with house money. You root on your team, no matter the score, and you have fun with the game. All right? That's what you do. But no, some of y'all have to still make it about yourselves. Y'all still have to. I'm quitting. Well, then take your ball and go the fuck home. All right? Because that's what you have, a quitting attitude. And if you quit on a football team, I'm letting you know this now, if you're quitting on a football team, I can only fucking imagine what else you quit on in life for yourself. Done with this fucking talk with Eagles fans. Fair-ass, fraud-ass Eagles fans. Unreal. But like I said, we lost. And of course the newspapers, the media, having a field day this, over, these should we say 24-hour period? No, they played at 1, so it's not 24 hours yet. But close to the 24-hour period on how they were, pushing the presses when it comes to the media and how the Eagles looked. But I put it like this, all right? Even though the media's going to have their field day here in Philadelphia, I put it like this. It still can't be worse than what happened with the Colts. Could be a lot worse, so I'm not complaining. Defense played pretty bad, but they came back in the second half, so they had an off day. That's what happens at times. All right, I told y'all before when the season started, if the offense doesn't pick up the defense are going to drag ass, and it's going to be a long season. But as we can see, the offense did what they needed to do, even though the defense was hurt. And that's what happens. When the defense makes mistakes, the offense are going to have to put them on their back at times. And when the offense isn't there, the defense is going to put them on their back. It's called a team, people. Learn it. Unreal. But over, of course, in the NFL in general, all right? I have to say this. The Giants look horrible. The Redskins, you can say they won 3 in a row, but let's be honest here, all right? They didn't look great. They beat the Ravens, I'll give them that. But the Ravens haven't been really that good. I mean, I can say the same thing back to what y'all said about the Eagles, you know? Oh, well, they only beat the Browns. You know what I mean? I can say the same thing. Dallas rolled over. The Bengals didn't even fucking show up. They didn't even show up. What was the point of even playing that game? Dallas rolled over them, so congratulations, Cowboys. All right? I can say that. But then I can say also, well, you played the Browns. I'm sorry, you played the Bears, wasn't it? You played the Bears. I can't give you credit for that. I can say the same thing. But Dallas did roll over the Bengals. They did. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And that one run, was it, that Ezekiel Elliott had? That was a disgusting run. Did you see that hole? You could have fit a truck through that damn hole. The Bengals just didn't care. They didn't come to play. Dallas rolled them over, which they should have. If that's how you're going to come play a game, then the opponent should roll you over that way. Dallas did what they needed to do. You can't take anything away from them. You can't. All right? Also in other news, as we know, the Chargers are cursed. They're cursed. Why is it in every fourth quarter you have this you have a chance to come back in every fourth quarter because you blow it. Every fourth quarter, bad snap, for each field goal, lose the game. Phillip Rivers is like, whatever, I'm used to this, and just walks off the field. I don't blame him. I really don't. I still feel that Phillip Rivers is an underrated quarterback. I really do. But he doesn't have really any weapons. You know, if you think about it, ever since LaDainian Tomlinson left and Marty Schottenheimer left that team, all right, when they had that big dispute between coach and the GMs and all them, the Chargers have not been the same. They were almost poised for a Super Bowl run, and then it just stopped. Once Schottenheimer left. And then you were plugging in playing all these coaches, and Norv Turner and all these, it never worked. It never worked, Chargers fans? You know that. Look at it for what it is. And now look where you're at. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think y'all cursed at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous that you all blew so many games this season at the end of the fourth quarter. It's beyond me. It is. Denver loses. That's right. Raiders. You know what? I have to say this. I have to say the happiest fan base probably right now is the Raiders. I have to say that. Because the Raiders fans, they've been waiting for this for years. We've seen year after year after year the Raiders just getting destroyed, trampled on. And now they're, 4-1? So, yeah, it may not last long, but let Raiders fans have their moment, as far as I'm concerned. Let them have their moment. I don't know. LA got destroyed, of course, you know. Like I said, they're another team that a lot of people said are pretenders, and then they got routed. So we'll see what happens with that. Atlanta, of course, you know, they did what they needed to do. They won. Like I said, they're going to be a challenge. They are. And I know a lot of people want to say, you know, especially Atlanta fans, and I'm going to come back to Lions fans because I want to talk about what they told me yesterday. But Atlanta fans, as you know, this is something that y'all used to. Y'all talked to me before about this and saying, you know, they look real good, and then when they get to the playoffs, they blow it. They're like one and done. That's it. You know what I mean? They have all this hype. But right now they're playing good football, and you really can't get, you can't get on them for that. They're playing good football. Detroit Lions fans, some of you last night, said to me that you were hoping that the Eagles actually won the game because you want Caldwell out of the head coaching position. That's pretty interesting. Very interesting. You said you want the defensive coordinator to be the interim coach because apparently a lot of Detroit Lions fans are very upset with the coaching. So, don't know what to tell you about that. If Lions fans were really cheering for Eagles fans, that should tell you something. All right, that really should. It's pretty sad that we see that. But also, San Francisco, got to talk about them real quick. The San Francisco fans, you keep asking me to talk about Chip Kelly. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Chip Kelly doesn't know what the hell he's doing, number one. Number two, Chip Kelly is going to kill your team. I'm just letting you know that. All right? Every time Chip Kelly doesn't deserve to be in the NFL. He doesn't. His schemes don't work. His play calling does not work. He doesn't take any responsibility when it's his time to take responsibility. If you go back, play this, San Francisco fans. If you listened to Chip Kelly's post-game interview, right, when they were talking to the coach, after the Thursday night game, and you go back and you listen to when he was with the Eagles, every time we lost, if you listen to what he was saying, all the way up to when he left, when he departed Philadelphia, it's the same thing. I'm just letting you know, San Francisco fans, this will not work out well for you. It won't. All right? Using the same, seriously, if you go back and you look at those, it's almost like a mirror of itself. If you go back and you look at those interviews, it's absolutely crazy. It is. So yeah, Cleveland Browns blew the game. Not surprised. I mean, I say you blew the game. You didn't just blow the game. You got annihilated. Tom Brady came back angry, and he was angry. Angry Tom Brady. No one wants to piss off Tom Brady, right? He went out there and he made a statement. That's what he did. And I'm sure he was thinking of Goodell every time. So that's another thing with Patriots fans. You got your Tom Brady back, but you were still winning even without Tom Brady. So it goes to show you, it's the system. It's Belichick. He knows what he's doing. He just does. You know? I don't know. But we'll see what happens, you know, in the future with the Patriots as well. We'll see. Damn cheaters. Damn cheaters. Anyways, I guess we should move on, since we were talking about embarrassing things. I guess we should move on to the Griffin Force Flop of the Week, which is more of an embellishment. And the only reason why this one makes the Flop of the Week is because I can't fucking stand the Sixers with Flash fucking Thompson. Don't tell me, remember, last time I put him on the Griffin Force Flop of the Week, alright? He flopped and flew backwards when he tried to make it seem like there was contact on a play where a player, you know, was charging him. But the player never touched him. And I showed you that in slow motion. The player never fucking touched him. He throws himself back. Alright? In this game, over the weekend, okay, Flash Thompson is barely touched. And tries to embellish the call so he can try to get the call.
Into the capable hands, T.J. McConnell out of the timeout. Out of the timeout.
Flash fucking Thompson, you garbage piece of shit. Oh my god, sit down. Go sit down. Go get benched for life. Go get benched. As far as I'm concerned, you do not deserve to be on the court when you're pulling things like this. It's, yeah, I'm going there. You have to understand, I cannot stand this dude because the fact, look, first off, they keep fucking featuring this guy as a highlighted player. You don't even start. How are you a highlighted player? You're not good. All you do is run and shoot. That's what you catch and shoot. That's what you do. You shoot with your legs wide open like you're doing the Jordan pose, all right? And then you take the shot. Why can't you stay playing when you're shooting? What is wrong with your technical ability? I don't understand this. I just don't. The Sixers in general are horrible. They're horrible. And I say this due to the fact that I've never been so mad in my fucking life when it comes to watching preseason basketball and the Sixers still win. That's how pissed off I am at this team because it's like watching a JV squad. It is. You've got to be kidding me that you're letting these guys go out and play the way they are fucking playing. It's disgusting. It's not even basketball at this point. It's not. It's, okay, I got the ball, I'm just going to run the court. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do if you're watching these games play by fucking play. It just makes no sense. It doesn't. And I want to talk about this more. But first, because we're in the preseason, and I did it last year, okay? When I showed y'all, hey, a lot of fans look like they're trying to have fun, and they're dancing. I showed you a lot of dancing clips last year, right? Right, last season? Mm-hmm. Well, looks like it's already started. Because Sixers fans, y'all just don't know how to fucking act. Y'all just embarrass the shit out of yourselves.
Opening night presented by Independence Blue Cross. Wednesday, October 26th at 8 against Oklahoma City. Go to Sixers.com to buy your tickets. Sixers lead by 1, and they...
Jesus Christ, I've never seen so much non-rhythm in my life. Oh my God. Just stick to dabbing. Just stick to dabbing. That's what y'all do best. Just stick to dabbing, please. Because that is just, oh my God. Oh God. Okay, anyways. Let's talk about the fucking Sixers. Let's just get this out of the way, alright? People who are getting on Joel Embiid, alright? You have to understand, all right? Because I've seen people like Angelo Cataldi get mad at Joel Embiid. Well, his progression, his performance, and how many minutes he plays is, doesn't stack up. The man plays 12 fucking minutes totally whole game, 12 minutes. That's what he's limited to because the Sixers are making sure that he doesn't get re-injured. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, if he's got 4 points and let's say 12 minutes, it's not because he's not open. Because as we know, the Sixers, they didn't shoot the fucking ball. They don't. Like I said, they don't have a play set. They never do. All right? So it's not like, oh, he's down the low post. Let's try to work the low post. No, they don't do that. They just run around and they pass it around the arc. And if they don't see a shot, if they don't see an opening, chuck up the ball. That's what they do. Doesn't matter who's shooting, just chuck up the fucking ball. That's what they do. All right? So, as far as I'm concerned, Joel Embiid, he's had 12 minutes. His last game he played pretty much better. But the game before that, he only had like 4 points. But it's 12 minutes. It's 12 minutes, all right? If you're not touching the ball, guess what? You're going to get cold. That's what happens in basketball, all right? So when you see guys come off the bench, they've been sitting on the bench for God knows how long, and they're just now checking into the game, and they get fouled, and they try to make a free throw, they're cold. They're cold. And they miss it, that's what happens, okay? Even though free throws you should know automatically. But still, they're cold. They don't have a feel for the ball, nothing, all right? So he can't do but so much for 12 minutes. I think it's very unfair that people are judging Embiid off of 12 minutes of play. Now, if we look at, I guess I can play devil's advocate on this one. If we look at the flip side of it, all right, Czarnik. Let's talk about Czarnik. Because, as you know, he plays 17 minutes, but he's been scoring pretty consistently. Granted, 2 different positions, but he's been scoring more consistently. He's been touching the ball more. That's what it is. All right? Now, with that said, his defense is horrible. All right? If anybody saw the way Kyrie Irving played the shit out of him during the Cavs game, it don't make no damn sense. But I've said this before. I said this on you guys on Twitter, Sixers fans. What did I say? I am worried the most, not just about the guards, because you don't have guards to pass the ball. Because, who's it? Rodriguez get benched as well. Rodriguez don't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't. He's horrible. He does the same moves. If you paid attention to these games, he does the same move. He goes to the side, tries to penetrate. There's nothing there, tries to kick it into the middle for someone to slash. That's what he does. He does nothing else. He can't shoot. He tries to lay the ball. Can't lay the ball. He's horrible. He's one of those people where he's just a pass first guy, point guard, prototypical pass point guard. All right? He's almost like, who's that guy who used to be on the Knicks? And he went to the Rockets. Prigioni or whatever his name is. He's like him, but worse. Okay? That's what he is. And you wouldn't got this guy from Spain. Like, really, he's not good. But, like I said, he's not the type of point guard that has a basketball IQ where he knows, okay, I need to make something happen if they're not open. That's what happens. You have to create a solution to the problem. And if you're not creating a solution to the problem, well then, you're just another body out there on the fucking floor. That's what it is. And it seems like that's what the Sixers have right now. Just a bunch of bodies on the floor that really don't know what they're doing. And this falls on the coach as well, because I had said it's not just the offense, it's the defense. I said, because we've seen it for at least, 5 seasons, 6 seasons now? The Sixers have not been able to defend the 3. They haven't, all right? And, once again, here's your proof. Because if you haven't realized, in these couple of strings of games they've played the preseason, they haven't defended the 3, especially near the end of the game. I'm going to say, and as you know, Sixers fans have been watching these games, 4 minutes in, to the end of the fourth quarter, all right, the Sixers collapse every fucking time, all right? And what happens? Not much more. They did the same thing with Boston not too long ago. I want you to see just how much defense is being played, and thank God Marcus Smart didn't knock down this 3, or that'd have been the game. But you have to understand that this is what I'm talking about. Look how far they're playing off the ball, off the 3 ball, and this is why when good teams can excel at shooting the 3 ball, the Sixers are in trouble. Respect it or not, you do not give a shooter that much space to knock down a shot, okay? Especially near the end of the game, you clearly don't do that. We saw this also with the Cavs, did we not? Where the Cavs absolutely annihilated the Sixers at 3. You should know this, and we saw this near the end of the game. Oh, the Sixers came back. Oh, it looked like they're going to win this game. And then 4 minutes in, here come the collapse. Turnovers, stepping out of bounds, just doing all types of dumb shit. They're doing whatever they need to do to lose the game. That's what they're doing, okay? They just can't hold it together, especially near the end. And then you have these teams that call timeouts, and then they go on these runs. And they just run and run and run. And like I said, we've been seeing this for about 5, 6 seasons now. And we have switched coaches. You're going to tell me that Brett Brown has not come up with any type of solution to this. Not one. Look, when you're with the Cavs, all right, and I have to talk about this because this really pissed me off over the weekend, okay? Look. There's 30 seconds left in the game, all right? The Sixers are up. That's right. They're up. 30 seconds. Rodriguez, all right, gets the ball at 30 seconds, right? You don't hold the ball. You pass off and you shoot a 3. Mind you, you're up. You're up. And you shoot a 3, which makes no fucking sense. You're just shooting a 3 just to shoot a 3. It's pretty much catch and shoot again, all right? You don't hold the ball. No. So what happens? Cavs get the ball back, they score, they're up. Right? Okay. So, 15 seconds left in the game. All right? Once again, you start to hold the ball, which is fine, Rodriguez. You're holding the ball because I expect you to take or give it out to the last shot, right? What do? You shoot the ball. You're holding. 15 seconds left. You shoot the ball and leave 5 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. You leave 5 seconds left on the fucking clock. And what happens? Cavs get the ball back, you foul them, they score again, and guess what? The Cavs win the fucking game. Why? Because you don't know anything about time management. And here's the thing, you can't just look at the players, because it is the players who are fucking up, but you also have to understand that that is a reflection of coaching. You're going to tell me your coach did not tell you, hold the ball. Hold the ball. Not once. Brett Brown, you didn't tell him to hold the ball? No. Then when you get a chance to do it again, at the 15-second mark, you don't tell them to hold the ball for the last shot? Not at all? Huh? Slowly but surely, I said last season that Brett Brown will not be here to see this team come to its full completion. I fully believe that. After seeing how that went down on Saturday against the Cavs, it was just disgusting. I wanted Brett Brown gone that night. I wanted him gone. Because for everyone who calls Brett Brown a coaching genius, and that, because he came from San Antonio and he knows how to build a team, and were there things that were unfair to Brett Brown in the beginning? Yes. Did Sam Hinkie leave him to deal with all those personal problems with Okafor and all them? Yes, because Sam Hinkie wasn't being a good GM. He's supposed to address those things, not Brett Brown. All right? But you left them out there to address those things. There are things that Brett Brown shouldn't have had to deal with as a coach at the time. But now, there's no excuse. There is no way you can blow a game like that and never tell your players. You don't even have to call timeout. You don't have to call timeout, all right? When your player is getting ready to inbound the ball, you step over to him and you tell him exactly what the hell to do. The point guard, all right, and the coach are joined at the damn hip. That's what it is. Coach tells him what to do. Point guard is the floor general. This is common sense. And yet, you just let them run around like a chicken with their head cut off. That's what you did. And they lost the game because they weren't, I feel as though they weren't coached right to approach the situation. But then again, they've been in this situation so many damn times, you think they get it by now. But no. Hell, everyone knows, even in league games okay, there's X amount of seconds on the clock, you can see it. Hold the ball for the last shot. Hell, when you're playing a fucking video game, when you're playing 2K, and you're getting ready to get the last shot, hold the ball till you get the last shot. Right? You gonna tell me that you don't understand these things? In professional basketball, at the highest level of basketball, you just lose all IQ. Basketball IQ. That's what you're telling me, Sixers. It's hard to watch these games. Like I said, the Sixers won against Boston, and I was pissed because of the way they played. Because they made it harder on themselves. And then, of course, every other game, they just lose it within the 4 to 2 minute mark of the fourth quarter. Because they make really bad decisions, bad turnovers, bad shot selection. I've never seen this. I've never seen, and I hate to say this, but I've never seen players so fucking dumb. Yeah, so fucking dumb stay in the NBA. Never. You make those type of decisions anywhere else, and people going to look at you like, you don't even deserve to be on this fucking court. It could be a pickup game. Oh, you want to shoot the ball? Nope. You should know better than that. Like I said, it's disgusting to watch. The Sixers have just, like I said, Sixers fan. I'm gonna watch Sixers basketball. At this point, I watch the games not just for entertainment, but to watch actual technical basketball to see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. At this point, I feel as though if I got a clipboard, I could coach the team better than Brett Brown. That's how I feel. Like, when you look at this, seriously, do you not go, after these games, do you not go back to the training facility and look at this fucking tape? Do you not see the problems? I don't understand what's going on. And then to be so cool and calm about it, Brett Brown's just like, No, it's not You had a chance to win. I don't care if it's preseason or not. You can ask any basketball player around here, all right? Pickup game or not. When the game is close, what happens in street basketball, people, when the game is close? All of a sudden, people start calling fouls, don't they? Touch fouls and everything, because nobody wants to lose. Then they start arguing for 5-10 minutes over a call, because nobody wants to lose. If you don't have that mentality every fucking night, all right, that you don't want to lose, then it's a disrespect that you're going to lose. You don't deserve to be on that damn court. Let's move on. Speaking of people who apparently don't want to lose, or for what I'm hearing, we need to move on to fighting. I got one bit of fighting news I really want to talk about. We know that UFC went off without a hitch, and we know, about, Henderson retiring. And I play this, if he really is retiring, that is a hell of a career. A Hall of Fame for Dan Henderson is not big enough, given what he has done, and especially for the age that he's at, all right? And even taking the champ Bisping, knocking him down twice and everything, Bisping retained, okay? But still, Dan Henderson deserves a lot of credit. He does. He's more than all. He's a legendary fighter, and you have to give him his credit. You just have to. All right, this guy has won so many titles, has been in so many major organizations, and held multiple titles and multiple promotions at the same time. You have to give him his credit. He is clearly a legend. So I want to say thank you to Dan Henderson for being that guy, that other fighters can look up to, being that guy to show grit, being that guy to be like, you know what, I'll fight anyone at any weight, didn't care. Did not care. You gotta remember, Dan Henderson, most of his teeth falls because teeth all knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, Dan Henderson is about as badass as they come. You know what I mean? So, thank you, Dan Henderson. However, we need to talk about this, for those who don't know. Ronda Rousey. That's right. Ronda Rousey says she wants to fight Chris Cyborg. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Number one, they're not going to make a weight for this, all right? Dana White, I'll put the link in the info bar. Dana White has already said that these ladies have to come to the decision on what weight they fight at, because at 145, Chris Cyborg is not big enough to have her own division. Like I said was going to happen, all right? Because there's not enough elite women at 145 to fight Chris Cyborg. That's the facts, all right? And Dana White says it himself. That's the facts, all right? That's number one. So for everyone saying, oh, when you win, you're supposed to go up and wait, blah, blah, blah. Nah, it doesn't work that way for the women's. It doesn't. Strawweight, bantamweight, you know what I mean? And at 145, there's not enough elites, all right? So Chris Cyborg is going to have to come down in weight, or they're going to have to talk about a catchweight fight, or try to meet in the middle somewhere, okay? That's number one. Number two, where are all those people who said that Ronda Rousey was scared of Chris Cyborg? I'm wondering, where are they at now? Because if she's coming out and saying, I want to fight Chris Cyborg, and she's coming out and saying this, where's the fear? Where's the fear? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because that's what y'all were saying. Look, I put it like this. As a fighter, you never doubt another fighter's fear. You never. If they have been in that ring, or if they've been in that octagon, or that cage, or whatever you want to call it, okay? When you were fighting competitively, all right, fear isn't an option. All right? They may be playing politics at one point, but fear isn't an option. Unless a fighter comes straight out and says, I'm not fighting that person, because no. Like, for those who don't remember, was it Mighty Mouse Johnson at one point was challenged by TJ Dillashaw to fight. And Johnson was like, I'm not fighting that dude. And TJ Dillashaw said, hey, they're throwing all types of money for this fight. They're talking about a huge payday. Why wouldn't you fight me? And Johnson still wouldn't fight him. Now, some could say that's fear. Some could say it's a good business move because he wants to hold on to that title for that long. So it's one of those things where you have to understand that when it comes down to it, you can't say, oh, he's scared or she's scared. You just can't blanket it that way. It's not how it works. If you're in the business of fighting competitively, you cannot say that a fighter is scared. You can say, oh, a fighter's ducking. Yeah, not because they're scared, but because of what they'll possibly do to their reputation. What don't you understand? When you're fighting at that elite level, one loss is a big deal. It's a big deal. We just saw that with Ronda Rousey, did we not? We always talk about Canelo and Triple G fighting and who's ducking who in this. It's because it's strategy. It's because, you know what I mean, they want to make sure they cement their legacies. They want to stay on top. They want to earn their dollars as much as possible before having to have that fight. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's not always about fear. It's not. All right? I'm sure we can come out and say that certain people are scared of certain people. I mean, we heard Floyd Mayweather was scared of Pacquiao for years. Did we not? What happened? All right, then. All right, then. Like, come on. Like, but I put it like this. When Ronda Rousey says that she wants to fight Chris Cyborg, I have to say no. Look. You want to fight Chris Cyborg sometime in the future? That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Fuck, I care. But your first fight back, that would be a big mistake. Huge mistake. That would be a huge mistake. All right? Rousey is in training and she's looking for an opponent. I get it. She's looking to make a splash. She's going to come, I'll put it like this. She's going to come back with a with this huge chip on our shoulder. I think that's what it is. Reorganize the brain and realize, look, everyone's laughed at me. Everyone's had fun at my expense. Now it's time to do something. Now it's time to show that, I can pull this off again. I also would say that some of the behavior towards her, I guess, is somewhat warranted because of the way she acted. So that could be it as well. You know what I mean? But you have to understand, when you're winning so much, people do want to see you fall. They just do. That's what happens. Hey, man, I put it like this. I think it would be a big mistake for her to fight Chris Cyborg as her first fight coming back. All right? Granted, it'd be a super fight. We'd all want to see it. But I think it would be a mistake. Let her get her feet wet first with another opponent. Then you can make that decision. You know what I mean? But get back into that, back into that square circle for all those people, that octagon, and see how people feel. You know what I mean? See how they feel about you. You know when you're fighting, and a lot of people like to say this, you just tune out the crowd or whatever. You don't always tune out the crowd. You know exactly how the crowd feels about you. You can feel it. All right? You can feel it. It doesn't matter if there's 10 people there, 20 people, 20,000 people. It doesn't matter. You can feel the mood shift in the room. You know what I mean? Or in the arena. When you walk in there. You can feel it. All right? Granted, you got tunnel vision. You're here. But you can feel it. It's almost like feeling a presence. You know. You know right away. So as far as I'm concerned, let her get that experience again and then move on from there. Anyways, I'm done for today. Next week, we'll see what happens. To be quite honest, I'm at this point between the Eagles and the way people are disrespecting them, the way the Flyers are being disrespecting their players acting like fucking idiots, and the way the Sixers are just a damn train wreck. It's not just a train wreck. It's a train that's wrecked and still going. It's on fire. All right, and no one wants to put out the fire. That's what it feels like. It's been a disgusting week for me when it comes to sports. It just has been. Like I said, I don't want to believe in the process. I don't want to hear any of that shit. When you're watching these games and you see the way they're playing, the way they're passing the ball, the style that they're passing the ball, not cross-court passing as opposed to bounce passes or chest passing, going across in a triangle if you need to. And granted, you don't need to play a triangle offense in order to make these things work. But it's about ball movement at times. And then, I'm just going to lob this ball up and throw it across, cross-court pass, and for some reason now, that's acceptable. And 9 times out of 10, when the Sixers do it, ball ends up out of bounds anyway. Or it's dare I say, intercepted, and they, turnover, and they take it the other way. These are things that you see when you learn to play basketball, or you play basketball, and you say, no, that's something you shouldn't be doing as pros, and then you have a coach that you're paying, and he doesn't try to rectify the situation either. What's the point of having a coach? I'm done. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.